This is something that holds us, where our mission is to bring us closer to our emotions, to understand not only who we are, but who we want to be. Today I have joining me,
Jess Ortega.
and thank you for taking the time out to make it up to Fairfield. I kick off every episode with a community meeting. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. You ready?
I'm ready.
How are you feeling today?
I feel peaceful today.
Oh, I love that emotion. What's a goal for today or this week?
To pack my bags for my trip to Barcelona. Not last minute.
Oh, someone's going to Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
Who can you ask for help?
The people I hold dear to my heart, probably my family and my best friends. Yeah.
I will jump into the next category, but I kind of want to know about Barcelona.
Okay.
Okay, so was this sporadic? Like this year, I'm going away.
So every year, my uncle and his friends, they play in a soccer league. So they're like in their 50s, they're older guys. And every year they go away and they do a trip to go see a game, like a soccer game. So I've gone on like as a tag along to the trips, and I've been to London with them twice. My dad goes, my brother goes, kind of like a family thing. My cousins go. So this year the trip is to Barcelona, and I knew about it last year, and we were all like, we're going. Like they did London a third year in a row. We're like, nah, we're good.
Nah, that's good.
Like we're good. So it's about a week long. We're gonna see some soccer games, gonna explore, gonna enjoy the wine, indulge in the culture, see some art, like just experience, another culture.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous of that. Well,
Don't be jealous.
I got my
I'll
own
be sharing.
plan. I got that own plan for this summer too, so I'm gonna enjoy myself.
Oh, where are you going?
I'm going to Costa Rica.
Ooh.
Cause I've been learning Spanish this year. My only goal this year is to be fluent in Spanish, and I can't lie, I'm doing very, very well.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Si tú quieres, yo
no.
puedo hablar en español contigo. Okay, never mind. Let's just keep going. Let's go.
3 years of Spanish, and I'm like the most embarrassing
No,
example of not knowing it.
You see, the Ortega threw me off.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
It's Mexican.
Mm.
So part of my family speaks Spanish, and some of us don't.
Oh,
my dad never learned it as a kid. And I definitely didn't keep up with it after high school, which is like so disappointing in myself. I'm disappointed in myself, but there's still time.
For sure. And that's the big thing for me. Like, I just said in like October, I'm like, shit, I took the Spanish for all these years. What am I doing not using it? So I was in the same shoes. One day your light bulb's gonna go off and you're gonna be out there learning.
I am. This is very true.
Do you believe in astrology?
I think astrology is an interesting topic to kind of indulge in as far as like taking what you need from it. I don't know if I necessarily believe in it, but like I definitely have fun with it.
Elaborate. I have fun with it.
I have fun with it in the sense that like I love reading about it.
Mm-hmm.
I love checking in and being like, does this sit right with me? Does this feel valid? Or just, it's, some people are like, oh, it's so generic, it could fit anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, but like if you look at your birth chart, like I've done enough of like, I don't know, I guess, I don't want to say research, but I've taken the dive in a little and I enjoy it. But do I take it to my heart when I'm like, oh, I am this because of that? Like, no. I take what I want from it.
What's your sign?
Guess.
Guess?
Guess.
I'm not really big on astrology to guess, but if I had a guess, I would guess you were a Leo?
Nope.
You
want one more guess?
Do I want another guess?
Yeah.
I would love one more guess.
Okay, go ahead, you get it.
Sagittarius?
Nope.
I'm done.
Gemini.
I wouldn't have guessed that. You seem so one-sided.
There's definitely a duality to who I am as a person, for sure.
Elaborate on it.
I think there's duality within everyone.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
But I feel like that duality in some Geminis, or maybe it's because they take so much pride in the duality that it stands out more.
Ah, interesting.
But I say all that to say, no, actually, give me some of your duality.
Okay. So I think the concept of being extroverted and introverted is where I see it a lot. You know, am I extroverted introvert or am I introverted extrovert? I don't really
Jess,
know.
Jess. If
I had a whole conversation about this with a friend before.
with a friend, and I'm pretty sure they said, Jess, I don't know what you're talking about because you're an extrovert. Like, right? I think that was the conversation, and you're like, no, I like to be by myself sometimes.
It's funny. I love being with people, and I love meeting people. I think I live for that part
Hmm.
of life. I think that's my spirit. But there's like another side of the coin where like, I have to reset and refuel. I have to fill my own cup. And so when my meter gets tapped out, I'm like, all right, let me go back, retreat, take care of myself, like fill my cup. So I think to some degree, I would say I'm really both. I'm almost like a split. But a lot of people only see me as an extrovert. I think you're really spot on when you say that. You're like, come on.
So that part of you that's an introvert, do you take a lot of pride in that, or do you not want to show people that side of you?
I don't think I hide many parts of myself from people. I don't know if I necessarily take pride in like the way I am, extrovert, introvert. I think it is what it is, meaning like, there are times where I'm definitely more extroverted, and there's definitely times where I'm more introverted. And I think that I do share the introverted sides in a way. Like I think I'm open to like talking about like how I'm introverted, like or like it's probably like very typical of like most people how they kind of like reset and like self care. It looks different on everyone, but I think for me it's like there's a extroverted side of me that I feel like can be in groups of people, and there's like almost like I don't even want to call it extroverted side of me being intimate, like one on one right now.
Hmm.
Like this is more feeling I'm more introverted right now, even though this is an extroverted conversation. Like it's a conversation with like with someone else. I'm not by myself, but I would take this as less of me being extroverted.
I would agree. I
You know
would
what I mean?
agree. I think there's I I wouldn't even care to define or label this conversation as like extrovert or introvert because it's just an intimate conversation between two people,
Mm-hmm.
And I guess maybe when I think about extroversion, I think of groups,
Same.
you know.
I prefer this
All day
over
long.
groups,
I think this is why I brought this platform. These are the conversations that matter to me.
which I appreciate you creating this platform and offering it up for grabs. Like in a way, it's like, ooh, he invited me on the show. I'm
Yeah.
so honored. Like I'm super honored. I'm super humbled, and I'm like, why me? Like it's like, but it's like really nice to. I've been listening and following along, and just hearing everyone that you've brought on and yourself and the stories and just how raw and vulnerable. It's just such a beautiful thing to be a witness to, or hear, and it's inspiring. And I knew coming onto the show, I'm like, all right, like I'm gonna get in there and be 1,000% open and open to anything and just let it flow. And like I'm not here to shy away from anything because I feel like being vulnerable is the most important like aspect of human nature.
It's a superpower. And thank you for talking about the platform and the space. And um, I think when I think of people bring to come on here, it's either somebody recommended them and they told me their life story,
Mm-hmm.
or I feel like just personally knowing that person, I think people could learn a lot from them. There, I would love to see them give out more of the energy that I've received, and I think of how I felt when I received that energy or those words, and I want other people to feel that same way. It's the same way I feel, and after I'm done being vulnerable, and like this, it's like the weight is off my shoulder, and I don't. You can't judge me after I'm being vulnerable. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I've freed myself,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people don't know what it feels like to have those shackles off.
Mm.
So even for a moment, just listen to this other person tell a story about the time that they were down and out, and you're like, damn, that was me, but I'm too uncomfortable to share that. You know, shit
Mm-hmm.
is alright.
I love that. Like when you share, there is no judgment. Like
Mm-hmm.
there should I don't and if there is, it doesn't phase you. It doesn't affect you. It's like I love that you said that, and I think that I never actually reflected on it, feeling like freedom, and I love that.
Gotta free yourself. Um, I want to get into more of the scheduled questions I have.
Yes, definitely.
What does community mean to you?
Community. Okay. Community for me is having a group of people who truly see you and value you for who you are at your core. You know, I think that that's something I provide for people in my community, like my closest friends and other creatives, is like full acceptance. Like, let's geek out on something that you want to make, you want to create, or what you're doing, or what your goals are, what you're trying to achieve. You know, I feel like I'm here as a number one supporter. So, seeing and valuing that is super important. So, that's how I would define my community.
Yeah, I think that's very good way to define your community, and I love how you mentioned seeing the value of like seeing your value for what you are, and supporting that, and like how do I put this? How did you put it? Like, I don't say reinforcing necessarily, like reminding the people in your community you're special, you're awesome, somebody loves you, I love you, all those things. You know what I mean? With that being said, is there? You seems like somebody that's very aware, and you understand that you operate in multiple communities. Is there a community that you've been able to build that you're most proud of?
I think that I would be comfortable saying that I've built with others a community of individuals who can have a platform for creativity. And I think that it felt super empowering, and I felt super blessed to even be witness to seeing people like be creative or more comfortable in their skin and open up. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so I would call it, like, I guess, a creative community. Like that's something, I guess.
Is that something that you're still a part of right now?
Yes, I think I'll always be a part of that community. I think community is something that ebbs and flows like everything else in life. It shifts, it changes, dynamics shift, people change, people come and go, but there's still something that remains within the energy and the connections that were made.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Some things, I mean, like you said, energy is never destroyed, it's just transferred.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got to be willing to accept it as it's in its change.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think I have an idea of the community that you're talking about, and I want to touch on that a little later.
Okay.
That sounds good?
Sounds great.
You mentioned that, this might have been off the podcast, talking about what you do
Off
to
the record.
relax, and when you finally get the time, like for your weekend,
Okay.
you make sure you find time to paint.
I always make sure I have time to paint. It's actually a priority.
A priority. How often do you paint?
I probably paint almost every day.
Every day?
Almost every day. I mean, I like for a couple weeks now, I've been a little busy doing a few other things, like different jobs and meetings and stuff that I have going on. So I could say I've been slacking, shifting my energy and priorities, but I would say at least 5 times a week. Yes.
I love that.
Which is huge for me.
Why is that huge for you? I feel like you're somebody that's always been so artsy. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, you went to Pratt.
I did.
So, being somebody that went to Pratt for art, like, why is you painting so consistently now so huge?
I think I lost touch with my creative self. I think I gave up that gift to myself. I I feel like it's like torture. It was like torture, and I didn't realize how bad I was like mistreating myself by not prioritizing my own art, my own creative process. Like, that's everything. So when I started to tap back in, and I would say more recently, so for a couple of years I was not creating the way I am now.
So did you find yourself like more focusing on providing a space for people to create than creating?
Yes, 1000%. Yeah, you hit it right on the head.
So, like, I think that's hard, though, because you take so much pride in being a person that supports a community in that way. So what does that transition look like, and how do you find balance and happiness now?
I think it's hard. I think I will forever seek balance. I think that that's like the one thing is, do we ever achieve perfect balance? You know? So for me right now, I have really put myself first, and I had to basically take a step back and just prioritize myself for once. Or maybe not for once, but in a long time. And it's refreshing because I tend to be very selfless.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
Listen, I felt that for once in my soul. In my soul, that was like for once. Like you meant that.
I did.
You meant that, and you try to catch yourself talking about, oh, maybe not for once, maybe in a couple years. That told me a lot, Jess.
Yeah. I think it's hard. I've always been a giver,
Mm-hmm.
and I've always wanted to help people, like since I was young. I mean, you and I go back to school, and I was always just friendly, always trying to help people. Like even through sports, I played sports. Even when I found art, like learning and working with others, like I've always been a collaborative type of person and energy. So, and I'm a big giver. So it's, it takes time to acknowledge who we are to ourselves. Sometimes people don't ever get there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But if you're lucky enough to do the work and you dig in, I don't want to say lucky enough. It's not lucky. If you're aware enough.
Why don't you think it's luck?
I don't think that you get lucky like that. I think it's about being aware and acknowledging it and facing it. I think it's work.
Think it's work?
I think it's work. Yeah.
So at what point do you realize like something is a gift? Because like you can lack self-awareness you can lack self-awareness when people around you in your immediate environment aren't doing something that you're doing to know that it's so great. So it's a genuine question.
So you're asking, repeat it again? So you're asking me, how do I know if it's a gift?
Yeah, how do you said it's not luck, it's work.
Not luck, it's work.
It's not luck, it's work. And I'm thinking that in regard of the gift. Unless you're thinking of it in regard of something, unless you're saying that in regard of something else.
So I meant it as, I think that if you're lucky enough to if you're lucky enough to like actually get aware, to be aware, which I was like, wait, that's not luck. You don't get lucky to be aware. Like you have to do the work to acknowledge and observe and reflect, be introspective to get to a place of awareness to then, do the work and then make decisions, right? Then it's like, okay, now I have all this knowledge. I have all these coping mechanisms, all these skills. I have like I'm going to set myself up for success. What does that look like? I need my support group. So like, I think it's work. So
You're
like
right.
even the aspect of the awareness, but the gift aspect, were you referring to saying that the gift of like, just creating, or the gift of being aware?
Being aware that you have a gift.
Oh. I don't know.
And I think we can get back to that.
Okay.
I think only reason why I mentioned that is when you said like right now you realize in this life finding balance is a process. Mm-hmm. It's a lifelong process, and that's something that resonates with me right now because I've been struggling maybe for the past 2 months to find a new balance. And like even talk about my therapist. It's like when I was, let's say, I was doing something a specific way for 4 or 5 months, and I was like, well, let me change it up, right? And then you change it up, and then that 1 month you're like, that's not it. And then month 2 you're like, this is better, but this is not it. You know what I mean? And I'm trying, like my first month, I was beating myself up about it. And my therapist gave me good advice in the regards of that, this, like what you just said, like this is the process. You're finding new balance, and you can't really beat yourself up about where you're at right now while you go through that. You're going to make mistakes and so on. So moving forward, finding your new balance with spending more time on yourself and stepping back from the groups that you support. Do you find that difficult?
Yes. No hesitation. I still find myself becoming unbalanced and being like, oh, you should have said no. Jess, you should have said no. But I like to follow through. And there's times where I'm like, I changed my mind and I don't have the energy today, and I apologize, but let's get together X, Y, and Z. Or let's focus on this in like a month when I'm like rejuvenated and refreshed. Like, I have no problem voicing my boundaries. I don't know if I've really ever had a problem with that, but I think I've gotten more comfortable with it. Because sometimes it's uncomfortable to say no to people. You don't want to let people down or something.
Yeah.
And I like when you said, like, this one didn't feel right. It's like Goldilocks tries on her,
Mm-hmm.
It's that feeling. It's like you have to give yourself grace, because when you're going through something, you're in it. Sometimes it's too much to process. You can't process until you have like in hindsight, you can then look back and say, oh, maybe I'll try this next time. Or, oh, wow, I overreacted a lot because of, you're in it, you get into an emotional state and now you're reactive.
Yeah.
So I think giving yourself grace is the most important thing that I've learned to do for myself too.
And as a giver, it's something you so often give out so much you don't end up with any of that left for yourself.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's very well said. That's exactly what it is.
So, but let's. I want to get back to the art.
Sorry.
I want to get back to the art.
I can talk a lot.
I love it. Listen, we talked about bringing people here. This is why you're here. You not only say things that make me see more of you, of who you are, but you say things that make me realize some things inside myself that I need to think about a little more. And like that, I know for a fact this week I'm going to take balance is going to be something that's going to be my focus.
Ooh,
But I said I wanted to get back to the art because that's how I know you as being somebody in that realm. And how did you decide that you were going to go to Pratt?
So, in my undergrad program, I actually went to school and didn't know what I really wanted to do. I thought I loved math and I wanted to teach. Let's just put it this way. When I found myself as an artist, it was because I was doing so poorly in school. I almost failed out of college, and I had to get my shit together. Excuse my language. I had to get it together, and I remember like, okay, I'm going to take some courses to bring my GPA up, and 2 of the classes happened to be art. And about 2 weeks into the program, I decided to just declare an art major. And I was like, yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to do with the art degree. And I don't really know if I'm really good, but I just feel like this is who I am. Something tapped like right into me. And I was like, this is me. Like, I'm an artist. Like, in my soul, in my heart, in my essence, I just felt tapped in. So after that, I was like, damn, like, what do artists do to make money? Like, everyone's going to be like, whoa, like, really? Are you serious? Like, you go back to your parents, your family, your friends, and they're like, okay, so you like to draw. Like, okay, or okay, you like to paint. But, like, what are you going to do with that? Like, But I feel, like, very blessed that this is my time that I'm alive, and the arts and artists are like almost fully supported. Like, everyone's accepting that they are an artist in their own realm, and that's never happened before in our existence of human nature. So for me, as much as I'm an old soul, or I could see myself living in a different time, and like, you could kind of place yourself somewhere and just pretend you're living in a different time. This time is like the best, in my opinion, for artists. It's like there's always pros and cons, you're always gonna have challenges, but right now it's like respected. People want to talk about it. You can have a conversation. The creative process is the most healing process that we have as humans. So, getting off topic. You didn't get off topic. Go into it. The creative process is the most healing process as we have as humans. Oh my God. I love it. It's the best.
Give me more. What do you mean?
So, I think that, like, we could have nothing, but if you can create something from nothing, you have everything.
Yeah.
So that's really what it.
But I need you to. I need more. I need the healing. Elaborate on the healing. What does that mean to you? The creative process is the most healing process. Because when I heard that, I think of when we talk about creation and like a lot of the artists or greatest storytellers come from places of I don't want to say like places of great pain, sorrow, hardship, loss,
Mm.
or just not having and having to overcome. I think overcoming is the key
Mm.
the key in that. So like let's say for instance Charles Dickens, most famous writer of all time, right? And he was a poor boy that ended up writing to somebody and ended up getting an opportunity to really create and pull himself out of that situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um I think the power in it was him the stories that he was writing when he was young allowed was as a release or a distraction. Because I remember growing up and when I would read books, there's plenty of times I didn't have cable going home. Like
Mm-hmm.
my cable was on and off randomly. And I remember a month that books were my escape. And in that escape, I've learned to like really fall in love with words and writing. And that's where I found poetry.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I found putting everything that I had in me into words and sharing with other people. So that's I felt all that in that healing process. But I want to know for you, how what does that mean for you in experience wise,
Like, how did I experience the creative process?
and how does that help you heal?
Okay. So, in hindsight, looking back at myself growing up as a kid, I had sports. I played sports, but every night I would go up to my room and I wouldn't be tired yet, and I would draw or I would write poetry, which I don't, no one knows that about me. So
No, we shared that. No, do you think I can get a poem
it's
before
out
you leave?
there. What?
You think I can get a poem before you leave?
Oh no.
Just something light.
No,
Okay.
never.
I'll
I
think
mean,
about
I think even acknowledging that I like to write is the first step. Like I'm very I think there's a side of me that I don't share to everyone, and it's like the intimate side, right? Like there's a part of me that not everyone knows. There's a lot of parts to everyone that not everyone knows. So I feel like at some point, yeah, I would love to be like I hear you share your poems or you write a poem for each guest that comes on. I love that. Like when I heard that, I was like, oh, this is so cool, you know? And I had no idea. I'm like, this is awesome, you know? And so I think that for me, maybe one day I'll share. Maybe
Okay.
one day I'll share. But like they're for me because so when I was younger, I would write, and I think it was a way of getting things from up in the mind that were kind of like sporadic and taking up so much space to like release them out. And even the drawings were for me only. Like no one knew I was drawing. No one ever saw it really. So for me, it was something that I didn't realize was healing, but I was going through a lot of loss too, and I was definitely when I was drawing. And now, you know, as I started to like study art and kind of jumped into that, it felt like more like I was at home. Like that's what it feels like for me when I make art is like I'm home. I could care less about what is going on outside of that when I'm tapped in, like I'm locked in. Like you can't pull me from it. And like when I get into a place of painting where I'm in it, like I don't want to stop. And I'm like, oh man, but I only gave myself a couple hours, or I have to go to bed, or this, or you know, or I'm out of paint, I have to go get more paint. It's like, damn, like you know, I don't want to stop. And then you know, when you get tapped out, you kind of forget. You're like, oh, all right, yeah, I'll get to it. So that's why I feel like it's so important to prioritize that time for myself. It's like, you know, I say this thing forever peaking, but something else I've been saying for a couple of years now is forever healing. Forever healing myself I think everyone does it forever. I think it's a process that happens once it starts.
That makes me so happy. All right, so a couple things. One, I hope to get to know you more intimately. I want to hear some poems. Okay, that introvert side of Jess, and I love that. It's so funny because you took the opportunity to share like, yeah, I also write poetry, and I paint, and to your point, this is that time or era where people can say loudly, they can shout from the rooftops, I'm an artist, and this is my medium.
Mm-hmm.
This is my outlet. And I mean, it took me. How long have you known me? You didn't know I wrote poems.
I had no idea.
You know what I mean?
I was shocked, and I was like, wait. And then I was like, he's reciting his own work.
Yeah. So
You know,
like,
because I didn't know at first when I first listened, I was like, he's gonna read a poem. I'm like, is he reading his own poem or a poem? Like, you know, and I knew immediately. I was like, this is him.
yeah. So like,
So pure.
I appreciate that, and it's like, it took me a while to be like, you know what, this is me, and I'm proud of that, and I don't care what the judgment looks like, or if you don't accept the words that I have to say. It's still a process because sometimes I think about hurting people with the words I have to say, you know, and that's gonna take growth, and that just might take time for things to move on, and people be like, I don't know what he's talking about,
It's out
but
of
I
your
can relate.
control. That's always out of your control. Someone else's feelings and how they're gonna feel is not your. You will never have control of that ever.
You're
And
right.
being comfortable with that is hard.
Very, very. Like I'll write, and I'm like, this is it, this is it, and then I'm like, dang, this person's gonna. Well, I'm gonna share a poem today that's it's something that I wrote regardless of how other people would take it. So we'll see how it goes. You
Good
know.
for you. I feel like honored to know that you're gonna push yourself that way.
Thank you, thank you. Um, you said something else that I really wanted to tap into. Um, it was you said so much in there, Jess.
I know. I can't stop blabbing.
I know. I loved it though.
I like
I'm
prep myself. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna like really listen. He's not gonna get anything out of me. I'm gonna be really quiet.
no, we're gonna.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
kidding. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
right.
We all know
so
I'm not. That's not me.
you said you were drawing when you were younger.
Yeah.
So when you didn't really take it seriously until you I don't like these are your words.
Yeah, yeah.
Almost failed out of college.
Yeah.
After that, and you decided to do art. Did you ever doubt the process and think, "Dang, maybe I should be teaching math, or maybe I should try something else"?
Never. There's never hesitation. Like I used to draw, and I had this book that had like steps on how to draw different things, like cars, animals,
Hands.
plants. Maybe people, not necessarily hands. I focused on that in my undergrad program, but I was just like so infatuated with this book and like learning how to, and like teaching myself through this book like how to break down the shapes and how to break down how to draw this. And that was something I just did for fun. And then I took one art class in high school, which is so crazy to me. I was really good. I was really good in middle school. I excelled, and they took my artwork and they put it in the principal's office. I thought I was like hot shit. Yeah, you could take my pears, my bowl of freaking fruit. Ooh, I'm so cool. Like, you know, but I remember that feeling of, wow, I feel so good from someone acknowledging that I made this from nothing. It's a piece of paper and everything on there I did. That feeling of it felt rewarding. It felt validating that like you're worth something. Not that I ever didn't feel unworthy of whatever, but I'm just saying like that's what I'm trying to get at with like the creative process is so healing and just that aspect alone.
The validation.
Yeah, like I could take, I don't know, you could take like a sticker off of a water bottle, and if you can wrap it into like making it like a flower, like you didn't have that before. No one had that thought. You did it. You did it now. Maybe they had the thought, but they didn't do it. No one's gonna do it the same way you do it.
Yeah.
So there's something that, in my opinion, like there's something special about that. But I never doubted that. Once I found art, I never doubted that I knew it was the right thing, and I finally felt at home with myself that this is my identity. Like that was a huge thing for me, my identity as an artist, finding that.
This might be random, but
Go for it. Let's go.
what's your relationship like with Dina Shapiro?
Dina Shapiro. Oh wow. I haven't spoken to her in years.
Years?
But I think she impacted my life immensely.
How so?
I look at her, when I met her, I remember looking at her and feeling her, like feeling how she was, her essence, how she carried herself, how she spoke. I was like, I want to be just like her. Like there's something about her that I want to be like her. Like the way she's so knowledgeable and the way she has an effect on people.
Could you tell the people who's Dina Shapiro?
Yeah, Dina Shapiro is a special human who impacted my life when I was at Pratt, which is why I joined the program at Pratt to become an art therapist. And she always was super supportive. And she was a professor of mine, so I had classes with her. She was like the head of the department at the time at Pratt for art therapy. She's just an amazing person. Yeah, very big inspiration.
You sound so happy when you speak of Dina. But to say that you haven't spoken to her in years, why not?
I guess it's been like a long journey since I graduated. Oh, I went to Pratt when I went there. I think it's been a long time since I've really acknowledged that like time in my life. Like I kind of took off and dove right into the Mad Lab, and that really took over my entire life.
All right. So I hope Dina hears this, that you have such nice words for her. I don't even want to talk about how I know that name, but let's keep moving.
Yeah, I want to know who told you that.
I have my ways.
I don't know who you spoke to,
but you mentioned something.
You saw my face when you said it. I was like, wait,
what is this? Like, what are we doing? Like,
yeah, I'm like, where are we now? In discomfort. Let's grow.
Oh man,
baby,
Jess,
grow.
you're hilarious. Well, you mentioned something just now, and that brings me to, because I want to talk about some pivotal life experiences.
Sure.
You said till you graduated from Pratt, and you jumped right into, you graduated with the undergrad degree in art therapy.
So I have I studied art. I'm a fine artist, and I did like a minor in psychology.
Okay. Okay. I know you have some history doing art therapy as well.
And then I got my master's in art therapy and creativity development.
Oh, look at you. You was just going to school.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. It's an interesting topic. And to be completely transparent and vulnerable, I did everything except for one class. So I technically did not graduate with my art therapy degree. So that's where this is like, I'm like, discomfort. Here it is. And I'm not, I had shame and I had a lot of regret. But I don't feel shame anymore, and I don't feel regret. I do feel that it's something that I would like to go back and complete.
If you got one course,
really, really scary.
It is scary.
It's terrifying.
Thank you for sharing and being vulnerable with me.
It's hard.
I would love to check in with you about that in the future, even over. I mean, obviously, you can't go back this semester, but I'm gonna follow up with you because I got somebody else from another guest that has been ducking me. They gave me a goal and they started ducking me, but I'm gonna come after you about that goal. Okay?
Who told you about Dina?
Dina?
Yeah, who told you?
I'll explain that to you later.
Okay.
Because like I've known you for a long time, Jess.
Yeah,
and,
I know.
To mention, this isn't the first time that I've selected you as somebody that I felt has good energy, or you were doing good things before that I really wanted to share.
Oh,
you know?
thank you.
Appreciate
your words.
But you better go back for that one credit.
I am. I'm going to.
So.
I think I acknowledged it. Even talking about it at this point and on this platform is something I never thought I would do, because I really do still have shame about it. There's a lot of reasons why why I am the way I am and where I'm at right now, and why things unfolded the way they did. But I do think that a good friend of mine, Kim Joy, she's the anchored artist. I don't know if you know her. I met her through a project that I did.
You said she's a what
ago.
Artist?
The anchored artist. It's like her Instagram handle.
The anchored artist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll show you her. I would love to connect you guys. She's amazing. You should actually introduce. Like, you should do a little interview with her.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. So so Kim is a good friend of mine, dear friend of mine, and so she came to me one day about art therapy and asked like, oh, like what is it about? I've always thought about doing it. I've always wanted to do it. And I'll just fast forward, long story short. She is in the Pratt program and she is graduating this year.
Oh, wow.
And she has been the one to impact me and say, hey, Jess, I found out that all you have to do is this. And, like, if you want to do it, you can go do it and get it. Because I told her, I was like, I'll never finish. I'll never go back. I've always said that. Like, I'm past. It's in my past. It's in my past. But it's something that I've always had, like I said, regret and shame. But she's made a point to me. We were hanging out. We had a paint and dog night. So our dogs hung out. We painted. And, I mean, I cried. I cried when she started talking about it because it's, like, such a sensitive subject to me. that I feel like I need to, and I have needed to address for quite some time. So talk about like making time for yourself, focusing on yourself, putting yourself first. That's one of those items that I definitely need to prioritize.
And when you think about that, when you think about going back, what's that timeline look like? Because it's one semester, right?
It's one class that I would have to do again. From what and this is like speaking off of what she told me, so it's like I really have to go and address it directly. But from my understanding, it would just be completing my thesis. That's the only thing I didn't finish is my thesis. Everything else is taken, so I would just take that course again, and I would have to write that thesis. So it could take up to a semester or two.
Well, even if it takes two, it's well worth it.
It is well worth it. I think it's something that I need to address. And I think that I would not feel so crappy about myself. Like, I have to, I'm still working through those feelings. Like I say, I don't have shame and guilt. I totally do. But I think that that's something that I would like to, I feel like that will take care of those feelings for me.
For sure.
That.
And I feel like shame and guilt are deeper feelings. You get what I'm saying?
They're unproductive feelings. They are things that do not serve us.
No, not at all.
Ever.
So,
they never will.
And don't knock yourself when you say, like I said, I don't have shame and guilt. It's when
Of course I do.
you have, no, it's okay. Like, it's okay to be disappointed with yourself, but that doesn't mean that you're
only that.
Shame. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Only that.
Totally.
Like, the difference in the words means so much. And I try to remind students about that also. Like, there's so much power in what we say we are and how we say we feel. And don't confuse, like, because the fact that you're addressing this right now and you're talking about it publicly like this, that's that voice inside you saying, Jess, let me out. Like you just be who you need to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you took that shot. So give me a high five.
Air five.
Air five. Like, you took that shot and you're being vulnerable. Like,
yeah.
I love that. And you said, like, at first you thought like that's in my past. The past is behind me, right? But your past is exactly why you're here right now. You know?
1000%.
So where is it gonna take you?
What, me finishing that? I don't know. I think hopefully I can figure that out when I get there. Because part of me is in a place where I think I was meant to help people. Like I said, it's something that I've always felt since I was young. But I think there's a part of me that is fearful that it's not what I truly want for myself. And I think I'm still discovering that for myself, career-wise. I like the idea and the identity of being in a creative field, but still pinpointing what I want to do as a career, something I'm trying to rediscover now, actively. So for me, I think there's a lot of self-discovery necessary first.
Before you go back, or before you decide on how that's going to impact what you do as a career-wise?
I think both. I think I'm going to be doing that work, and I think I'm going to definitely be forcing myself to finish that thesis and do that thesis. I think I'm going to force myself to do it, and I don't really want to do it.
I understand that.
It's I gotta put myself in that position and force myself to do it.
Sometimes, and this is that part where we say, like, when you said the past is behind me, sometimes you have to go back and heal that person back there in order for this person to move forward. So I wish you well on that journey.
Thank you.
And not for nothing, you got me off topic again.
But I know, I'm sorry.
No, I was kidding.
Everyone's listening like, what?
I really wanted to dive back into, you said you left Pratt and you dived into MADRVN. Can you tell me a little bit about MADRVN? How'd you start that and what is it?
Yeah. So MADRVN is a creative, collaborative, community focused venue space. It's right now it does not exist as it was as I'm speaking of it now. So let's start there. But it was a safe space for people to create freely, and it was also a venue space. So it was like a blank canvas for someone to come in and put on a show or host anything or showcase their work. And And it was also a space where we had different artists who would rent a studio spot so they could make their art. So they had space. And that started in 2018. And it was like really, I like finished with Pratt. It was like the last class I had to take. And then it was like, okay, finish your thesis and you're done. And at that point, I was hired to work for a nonprofit, and that's how I saw you, and we reconnected because I was working in the Stanford Public Schools.
Yes, I remember.
Which was super cool. That
Yeah.
was like amazing. And I was so happy to see what you're doing and how, oh my gosh, who would ever think like our paths are crossing because we're helping the youth, and like how powerful this is and how good, the work that you're doing is so good. Like, doing good work feels good.
Yeah.
And it's like, in a selfish way, I say that. But like, if you feel good from something, it's because you're doing good.
Yeah.
Mostly, I would say. Not for everything.
Yeah.
Some people are not all good. No. But, for me, it was kind of like, all right. But at the same time, like, this opportunity to open up this space happened at the same time. So I think I was trying to juggle way too many things, and I didn't want to say no. So I said yes to all the things, and I overwhelmed myself, and I let go of finishing my thesis, and I gravitated towards diving headfirst into being an artist and being part of the Mad Lab. So, I was actively creating art there. I was actively becoming having a larger role there. We started it in 2018, and we didn't know what we were going to do, like how it was going to unfold, and it turned into this beautiful thing that kind of flourished with the community that it created.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I got the pleasure and the honor to be at, I think, 2 different events, and just to see what you were doing. And it really speaks to what you said in the beginning about creating in communities to support other creatives. Oh, man, it's so beautiful to see, especially with all the women you empowered on that day.
Oh, thank you.
Like, I love that shit.
Thank you.
But you said that this is something that no longer exists in that same way.
Mm-hmm.
Why so?
I think it always morphed with the time. Everyone went through the pandemic, and that shifted what we were doing and how we were connecting with people and what we were offering. We couldn't all connect at a physical space anymore. So we started to do kind of like digital interviews, I would say, and interview different artists. We came back and had more shows again. It kind of fluctuated what we were doing. Was it more focused on the people in the space, and then we kind of said, okay, let's open up and do more with the community outside, and let's collaborate outside of our space. So we started doing different collaborations, different locations of different things. So it was always kind of like, it was like a sculpture. It could be sculpted. It was malleable. But now it's definitely different. It was, we did the art manifestation a couple years ago, and after that we took like a little shift.
What's that?
So the art manifestation was an event that we created and worked with other people to basically offer generally it's like an art festival. So different vendors, different performers, different populations of people, just getting together and having like an art festival. And we just try to like do a little bit of everything within that. And that is still an event that happens every year. But the Mad Lab is definitely more not hands-on at all. So after that happened, we kind of were pretty drained. It was a huge event to take on and do and execute. Big success. And then we were like, let's look at our business plan. Like, what are we doing? Like, what's the best thing? Like, what do we want to actually stand behind? We've tried a bunch of different things now. Like, let's hone in and focus on it. And so we kind of dove into focusing on the workshop program, which is having different artists offer workshops at our space and have something different every week. And in addition to that, Mad Fridays, which is one of my favorite things that we've ever done.
And which is?
Basically, it's almost like an open mic night.
Oh.
So it's like anyone is able to come up and talk and tell a story, and it's a safe space for expression.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was just I thought it was like the coolest thing.
And by now you said like it doesn't exist in that standing space. Is Mad Lab done? Like, what space does it exist in right now?
I think it's still confusing for myself. I would say genuinely it exists, but we are not actively actually doing anything. like the three owners, three founder, the three of us are not working at all under MADRVN anymore. So it does exist as an LLC, and the physical space still exists, but it's a private studio now for one person. And so after the art manifestation, we tried doing this workshop and these Mad Fridays, and then it really shifted to a private studio for a few artists, and I was one of them who were there. And then it kind of like fizzled out. I moved out. I lived there. It was like a live studio space. I moved out of there. And now it just resides as just for one artist, which is great. So it's like, there's a lot of freedom in what it could be, but it will never be what it was. And that's very beautiful as well. Yeah. So, I couldn't even tell you what's going to happen to it, but it doesn't really exist in my opinion.
It doesn't.
Like that's what I would feel comfortable saying. It does not exist.
'Cause
it's there, but it doesn't exist as it was. Like it's not the Mad Lab.
Yeah, it's not giving.
You know what I mean?
All the support and opportunities and drawing in the community like it once was.
No, yeah, like there's nothing. There's no, yeah.
So, Mad Lab, let's say, takes a step back. Is that when you find yourself also taking a step back in your art?
No, I think I dove right head first into my art.
After Mad Lab?
Yeah.
So, like, I'm trying to see this timeline, because, like, when you said you graduated Pratt undergrad and you're going for your thesis, but then you decided to go head first into Mad Lab, right?
2018. Yep, 2018 dive in.
I'm focused. I'm painting. I'm creating this space. I'm creating events. You're still painting in that space, right?
Yeah, not anymore. But I was then. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So where? Give me the timeline to
sure.
You're painting a lot, then you stopped painting. Like what made you stop painting?
I was going from making art as an artist, like Raven making art, and then it turned into I have a company with my friends, and we're serving the community the best we can, and we're working on this day in and day out. So we have our 40-hour week jobs, and then every day after work, we meet for like 5 hours every night, talk business, do stuff, create marketing assets, talk and connect with other artists that we're collaborating with, organizing events, organizing everything how it functioned. So I had no time to create. So within the time when Mad Lab started to become Mad Lab and offer all these things for the community and connect with the community the way it did, that's where I sacrificed my art. And I just didn't have I don't think I had the headspace. I don't think I had the energy. There's only so much you can do in a day. Everyone has the same amount of time, but it's like how you spend that time. So when you dedicate a lot of time to one and you allocate that, you really have to sacrifice something else in a way, which unfortunately was for me my art. So when the lab started to kind of die out, for lack of better words, that's when my art started to increase. So double-edged sword is like you got to give up one for the other, and that's how it felt for me in those moments. Was that necessarily true? Absolutely not. Could I have been more hands-off? Yes, but I was so in it and so for it that I wanted to give my all to it. So that was very unbalanced, an unbalanced part of me that was happening. But I had to learn through the experience of not having my art and not creating my art and lack of art to recognize damn, Jess, what are you doing? Who are you? Who am I if I'm not creating? I'm not myself. Not the best version of myself for sure.
And when you find yourself not as the best version of yourself, do you see yourself treating the people around you differently?
I just don't think I'm being authentic to myself. I don't know if I necessarily treat anyone else differently. Okay. I think I just am not being the best version of me for me.
Okay. And, you only owe yourself the best version of yourself, but it's nice to give that to the people around you. And I say that because, you ready?
I'm ready.
I feel like, talking about Mad Lab, you correct me if I'm wrong, you said there's 3 founders.
Yes.
You had an intimate relationship with one of them, right?
Yes.
That was a longtime boyfriend.
Yes.
Do you feel like I'm not sure on how you guys dealt with your breakup, or would you want? I don't know if you want to, which part of that you would want to share, but I imagine the falling out of that affecting Mad Lab as well.
I
Oh,
think that that was pivotal. I think that was more so the reason than not. Sometimes, yeah, you got
um,
2 out of 3 people, and not everyone's on the same page.
and so give me that timeline of Mad Lab. You taking a step back from Mad Lab and realizing, all right, I'm pouring myself back into the art.
Yeah. Um. So Wilson and Weverson are the other founders of the lab. We decided that it wasn't functioning the way we wanted it to. Between the three of us, it wasn't working. We weren't all on the same page. It was becoming successful with the workshops and the Mad Friday, but not all parties were happy. And I think that that's important, that we all, as owners, should be happy with what we're doing in the work.
As in, somebody
We
wanted
disagreed.
they wanted to be doing different things.
Yeah, 1000%. And so when that happens, I think that you can't function, like it doesn't work, like something's like, it's like broken, like we can't function. We only have 3 wheels on the car. We need a fourth. We're not driving.
Uh-huh.
So when there's that inner turmoil between us, I think we all felt like, okay, well, like, we're not going to do this then. Let's take a step back. And that was like really hard, a really, really hard conversation to have amongst us. And at that point, it was, okay, well, how can we like take a step back and like revisit it? And so Weverson and I moved into the lab, and it became a private studio for us to make art and try and tap back into just being artists and see if that would make a difference.
Uh-huh.
But I think that through that experience, a lot of stuff happened. There's change, there's shifts, there's identity different, like, change in identities, change in schedules, change in how you're putting your time and what you're doing with your time. So I think, at that point, it was just like everything really shifted, and it was never going to go back to what it was. It could never. You can't just go back. Like, it's something that it lived. So the timeline was kind of like, let's see, that's what you're asking, right? The original question. The
No, it's okay.
timeline
No,
was
this is
like 2022. And then, like, as of, like, I would say January, we were still there. March, May, we were in there as a private studio. And then after May, I would say I moved out in November.
And do you feel like the what you guys individually wanted Mad Lab to be, when you and Reverson moved in? I assume that you guys had similar ideals of what you wanted it to be. Is that correct or no?
Like when we moved in May.
Yeah, when you went into the space.
I don't think so.
So what was your intention going into the space?
Oh, I mean, we both were okay with it being a private studio, yes. But I think that we both had different visions as well.
Okay. And what was your vision?
I think I was hoping that I would actually be able to create more. And I felt really in a space of, like, I did not feel creative, I did not feel motivated to be creative. I felt there was a lot of internal struggles for myself tapping back in, like my own work that I was trying to get back into. Like, it increased, like I was maybe making art, but it wasn't like I was doing the things I wanted to be doing. I think that I was, not as focused and prioritizing myself.
What do you mean by that? So, like, is that, you said you weren't making the things that you wanted to be making. Was that because
moving was a lot? Moving, like physically moving, like we had moved a year prior, so it felt like for 3 years in a row we're just moving and moving to a new place a year later, moving to a new place, and it gets, for me, it was super exhausting, that process, going through everything in the entire Mad Lab and having to, like, get rid of or sell and donate. that came along with us moving into the space.
Oh.
It was just such a task, it felt like, but like it needed to be done. So I think that there's a level of stress that induces amongst people, and it happened to really, I think, affect every relationship I had, with Wilson and with Weverson, and then their relationship and our relationship as friends outside of just the business. And the one thing that I always really cared about was like, I just don't want to ever lose our friendship. That was like number one. And I think that was something that was kept, which is great.
Like, so you guys have a good friendship still?
With Wilson and Denise, Wilson is his fiance. Denise, that's her. They are my best friends.
And you and Weverson?
Weverson and we don't talk anymore. We had broken up in September, and we're very cordial. I would only say that I hope the best for him, and I have, no ill intentions ever. Like, that's just not how I am, and that's not how I feel towards him. But we are not in contact, no, I would say. I mean, if he were to call me and, would I respond? I don't know. Never really thought about it that much.
Okay.
Like, I don't think about, like, he's not really in my life anymore. I think it's, like, hard. You go through breakups, like, I know you recently went through one as well. So, I think, go ahead.
Were you in love?
Yeah.
So
I was definitely in love.
Is it, at this point, easier for you to say, I'm never going to talk to this person again? And does that make you question the emotions and the experiences that you had with each other?
I don't think that I'll never talk to him again. I don't look at my life as like so black and white. I think that if he were to reach out to me and, I would talk to him. Like, I don't look at it like that. As far as, what was the other part of the question? Processing and...
Yeah, I guess it's, would you... you answered, if he called, you would still talk to him.
Probably.
But does this, where you're at in your relationship now, make you reflect and think differently about the emotions and experiences that you two had together?
Yeah, always. Hindsight is such a gift to be able to like look back and reflect and actually process things. I think when you're, like we were talking about earlier, like when you're in it, like you don't really know that you're in it sometimes, or like you're in it and you're just like in survival mode and just trying to get through it. And like, you look back, you're like, I could have done this, I should have done that, coulda, shoulda, woulda type of thing. Or like, now knowing this information, I would do this next time. Or I think that it's you giving yourself grace, like just knowing that like we grew up together through this. Like we lived this, like that was our life. And it's like,
Sometimes it's okay. Breathe through that, girl.
I'm good, yeah. I'm just like, I can't finish a sentence.
No, but I say that because I think about that often for myself. Even in like situations that I'm maneuvering through right now. Like initially, I'm like, yo, this girl was my best friend. I'm always gonna have this person in my life, right? But then as time goes on, it's like, damn, I can't. You sent me a message on one of my videos, and you're like, I felt that message. Was like, what are you doing?
What did they say?
No, just you sent like the O face, like when I put a video out. But it was just me trying to be honest about where I was at and my own growth, and realizing that you think that just because you got all this history and all these good memories that things are going to be good. There's no like negative things, but the heart's going to feel what the heart feels, and you're going to need to make that space. And when you make that space, it's kind of like your brain and your heart now. I don't know. They're kind of at war. Like, what was really going on, you know? And does that affect you in, I want to say relationships, but in dating?
What happened to me?
Yeah.
Like in general?
Like, yeah, like just taking the emotions for face value.
Like, so I guess what you're, correct me, I just want to make sure I know what you're asking. So you're asking like now, currently where I am in my dating life,
Mm-hmm.
do I have any, does my past relationships affect how I look at my new relationships?
Yes. Or yes. We'll
That's what you're
start.
asking,
Yes,
right?
definitely that. And I want to add a second part when you
And then
answer.
tapping into like the emotional aspect of
Mm-hmm.
things. Okay. So I think, yeah, I think every past relationship I've ever had has always kind of given me more insight on myself, or recognizing like how I treat people or what I thought and how they treated me, and like what they thought and what I thought, or like lack of communication, too much communication, and like there's all different elements of relationships. And I think until you're in a serious relationship, and like if you know, um, you're vulnerable. You take a lot of risks, hopefully, and they're rewarding. Like, not just because the relationship ends doesn't mean that it was like all good and it was great and there's only bad, or there's only bad, or like for me, finding closure was for myself. It wasn't for anybody else. Like, I had to find my own closure, and I think everyone needs to do that in every ending of every relationship, like whether it be platonic or not. So with friendships, I do that with. So all my relationships, I feel like I take everything I've ever experienced as data. It's a way of collecting data and then processing that data and being like, all right, when this happens, or I feel like this, like boom, 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 that's a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or like, I need to listen more.
But you don't. So now, what I want to get at is you collected all that data,
Mm-hmm.
and you're with this person for a long time, and you feel like this data is valid. But after you break up, do you feel like that data has now been invalidated? Or do you still run off that same type of information? You got what I'm saying? Because you were in this serious relationship, and like you said, sometimes people grow into different people, or that's why I mentioned before, like when you said you weren't your best version of yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you not know if you not being the best version of yourself impacts the people that are intimately involved with you? And it's like a cycle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 1000%. I think that like not being the best version of myself is always going to affect everyone else around me, and like vice versa. You're always going to be affected. But like there's a fine line of knowing like how to look for support even if you're not your best self. I don't think that like we have to be our best self to find our person or be within a relationship. I don't think that's how it works. I don't think that like you should ever hesitate and wait on falling in love or falling in friendship love. Like, I think soulmates look different for everybody. Like, I think finding your people should never be reflective on who you like, where you are at in your process and your journey of healing. Like I said, forever healing. But I think there's a level in which of that awareness does affect the people that you do attract. So you want to be like vibrating at a high frequency. And I feel like I'm tapping back into that place. And I may not be there all the time. Sometimes shit will knock you down. But like you're forever peaking. You're always on the way up. That's what that's why forever peaking is such a big thing for me. It's like no matter how low you feel, like you're still on your up. You're always going up. Like don't lose hope. Don't lose faith in that.
Yes, that's
so with relationships, I think all the data is always valid. The different types of way that you process it over time changes and shifts, and I think that's how you gain wisdom in anything in life. When you start to, even though okay, like I processed this breakup, but in a month from now I'm gonna process it again differently, or I processed this. I don't know, something with my career. Like I processed how I got this job. Like moving forward, like, okay, I got a new job. And like, oh yeah, remember how I did that? That's so, like, everything is all, I think it's all data.
And so you date now?
I date now.
Do you date?
Oh, you're asking, am I actively dating?
Mm-hmm.
I'm actively single.
I love it. All right, so
I think I'm a very intimate person, meaning like, I'm very friendly. I love meeting new people.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I'm out in the world and I'm single.
All right. That's
Is that a good answer?
You answered the question without even having me ask the question. I'll mess with it. Then we went down a rabbit hole right there.
We did.
You seem like somebody. I like how you said that you're somebody that's very happy and you're open to seeing people. So you seem like somebody that loves love.
I love love. And I love to love.
Mm-hmm.
And I love being loved on. I think I am love. I think we all are love.
Yeah.
Like if you, I know every podcast you ask, like, can you tell me a fact about you? You didn't ask me that, but
Trying
I
to switch
thought
things
about
up.
it. But I thought about what I would say, and I would say a fact about me is that I am love, and I love to love. Genuinely, that's what I was gonna say. So, like, love is super important. I think it's like one of the purest forms of humans.
Yeah. I just want, I 100% get that. I want people to feel love from me, no matter like what it is. Like whether it's when I'm at work, some kids feel like I'm their dad.
Yeah.
Whether here where Jakai is like my brother, you know.
Yeah, I totally got that vibe from you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want my people to know they're loved, or just people in general.
I feel the same way. I'm very big about that. Like I love to let people know that I really appreciate them. There's like a level, and I don't just, oh, thanks so much, this and that. Like, no, like I appreciate you and who you are and how you live your life and how you make your decisions, or I appreciate how you treat people. You know, I appreciate my people. And I feel that I like to think they know that I love them. I think I do a pretty good job. I hope I do. Now I'm like, maybe I need to love them a little
No,
bit more.
don't. I'm sure you don't.
I'm teasing. I'm just
Yeah,
saying. Like,
yeah.
I love to love, and I have so much love to give.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess one thing I'll say is that no matter any situation I'll ever be in, and I have been in terrible, worst experiences of my life, like, I promise I will never let any of that ever make me bitter and treat people differently and be different. That's so important for me. I'll never be bitter. I'll always continue to just pour out
Yeah.
for the next or the others.
Like
you know?
I don't care, and it took me a while to get there though. Like to a point where now where it's like I don't care how people do me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do me. You got that make sense?
Yes, I completely. That is very much in alignment with who I am too. Cheers to that.
Oh, this is a fun part. This is the part where we get to open the folder.
The mystery folder.
The mystery folder. And then when you open the folder, I want you to show the camera, either camera, what's inside.
Oh, I'm so nervous.
Don't be nervous. It's
Am I
just
the father.
It's just your past.
It's just my past. Oh, I'm so anxious now.
Just your past. That's it.
Okay.
What is that?
Where'd you find these?
Do you know what those are?
Yeah, these are probably these are definitely photos that I took years ago.
Look
I'm
at
trying
the
to think
top.
of like what year. Is that the date?
Yeah.
2013.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow.
So a long time ago, I've always had this dream of like creating spaces or platforms to really highlight people that I thought were talented, and you're always somebody that I felt was talented. So
Yeah.
back in college, I asked you to share a Google Drive folder with me,
Oh my gosh, I barely remember this.
and in that folder is a bunch of paintings, pictures. I still have them. I saved them so that just in case one day you saw the link and you deleted it, I still had the pictures. And through that is also, I'm assuming this must have been Dina's class, because in that was also a review that Dina Shapiro wrote about you.
Shit.
So I got to learn a lot about how Dina felt in regards of your work, and she really respected your growth. She felt like you always had the passion for art, like that was clearly there, and thought that you in the future would be professional. So I think it's funny that you speak so highly of a lady that saw everything that you're doing and now you're doing it. So energy is never transferred, right? And never destroyed. It's just transferred.
Yeah.
And I hope when you look back and you think, oh, I want to be this person that does this, that does that. A lot of those things you described as Dina is how I see you now. So
Wow.
I hope that you take that with you and don't forget about the person that you're probably imagining yourself as or hoping that you become. You've been already.
Thank you. Thank you for seeing me. I feel seen.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. To think that's a decade.
That is crazy. Yeah, wow. This is from my undergrad. 2013, I was still at Central. But I still think they're very powerful photos. Which I didn't really show the camera. I forgot.
It's all right. It's all right.
But this one's cute. This is like when I started my Instagram, I feel like.
Might be. What does it say?
If it is meant to be, who are you to change that? Time to believe it. It's very powerful.
This timing is everything, right?
Yeah, timing is everything.
It's divine.
Timing is everything. So there's this one. I can't believe that we had a drive. Like, I'm just thinking about that now. I'm like, oh my God, what photos are in there?
I have a lot of options. And then my friends are like, those are the ones that spoke most to me and a couple other people. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go with it.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate you, Jess.
Appreciate you.
That just lets me know, like, this is something that I've always wanted to do with you. But let's get to another part. This is quite the conversation. I hope you comfortable? Need any water? You good?
I'm comfortable.
All right.
For now, until you start asking me some questions. Like...
it's gonna get a little heavier.
Okay.
This section is the Book of Human Emotions by Tiffany Watts Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I usually talk about an emotion, and you let me know if you know what it is or if you've experienced it.
Okay.
Today's emotion is mudita.
I need a definition.
Mudita is joy felt from someone else's success.
Ooh.
It's from Gautama Buddha. It's I would say, do you know who Gore Vidal is? It's somebody else. His quote is, "It's not enough that I succeed. Others must fail. But it's without the others must fail. It's like having the joy of just simply seeing somebody else succeed." Mudita. Have you ever felt that?
Yes, absolutely.
When was the last time you felt mudita?
I feel that presently right now with you.
Why?
I feel pure joy from seeing you offer this platform. Like, I think this is huge. I think a lot of people like to start things and, but the intention behind you having this is where I feel that you have tapped into a part of, like, I don't want to say success, but I feel like this giving aspect, and no one asked you to do it. Like, there's something so pure in that experience that I'm feeling. And then being on it, I feel so happy for you that you're doing something for you. And I don't think anyone, I don't know, I didn't see it coming. I didn't know that you were going to do this. Also, I'm like, wait, he's got a podcast now? What's it all about, though? What's the podcast about? I'm like, oh, okay, this is some real stuff. This is really tapping into the questions and the conversations that people don't like to always have. How many times you see your friends and you don't have these conversations all the time? I mean, I like to. I can get real deep real quick.
Me too. I love it.
So maybe like-minded, I get it, but that's where it hit a place in me, and I was like, wow, I feel so good to see you, like, excelling and flourishing. Like, I feel that a lot. I love seeing people, like, do really well or flourish or overcome or break through and achieve their goals or, like, tap more into themselves. Like, that's one of the best feelings for me, is seeing someone be more themselves. So I feel that right now.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. People have told me things like that, but not like that. So I kind of lost words. Appreciate you, Jess.
Appreciate you.
I think I feel that often as well. Especially I feel that every day when I go to work and I see a kid, like, do something for themselves and succeed or overcome or flip a situation. I'm like, you did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Try not to get too hyped to make them see, like, how happy I am. But, like, it makes me, like, just one of those moments in a day can make to turn the worst day around,
Yeah, seeing the growth.
Mm-hmm. But, boy, I'll be seeing some bullshit.
That's kids, man.
That's kids.
But we're just big kids now, so the same shit.
Oh, man. Who you talking to? When was the last time you cried?
Last time I cried was on Thursday.
What'd you cry about?
I think I was just feeling sadness. Like last week, I was like, for quite some time, I would say, to be completely transparent, for a couple of weeks, I was like, I feel like I don't feel so good. Like, right, it's never a good feeling crying necessarily. Like being sadness, and so when I get into places of emotions that are not feel good emotions, I'm like, all right, let me just get through this shit and be done. Let's not like stay there, but let me just actually get in there so I can get it out of my system and move on. Like
that sounds so crazy though. So like you're just in your head like, yeah, dang, that's a cry coming right now. You're just walking down the street like, let it out, Jess, let it out, and then you just snap back. Like I don't understand.
I don't think it's snap back. So this is like the past 2 weeks I have not been able to cry. I was struggling to cry. I'd feel immense sadness, and then I could not cry. And it hurt me because I was like, oh, I want to cry, but I really physically am not crying. And I don't know how many times I've really felt that in my life. Because I was trying to like dig in and I'm like, why is this happening? Does this remind me of some other thing that happened to me? Like I couldn't and I could not figure it out.
You couldn't cry?
I couldn't cry. So it happened like earlier in the week and I was so sad and I was crying a little bit. And then I was like maybe shed a few tears and I'm like, all right, let me go in the shower. Let me see if I could cry in the shower. Like, for me, these are different things that help me cry, I guess. A sad song. Like, I'm like, all right, let me tap into this. I want to like tap in. I want to do some work. Like, why am I sad? Like, why am I feeling this sadness? And then I remember like Thursday, I was like, yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm going to cry. I can feel it. I'm going to cry. And I just cried. And then, on Friday, I ended up crying, and that was, like, not, like, I'm gonna cry now. Like, no, I was upset. I got upset about something, and then I was, like, crying, and, I was like, all right, maybe that's why I didn't cry early in the week. Like, I need to have my energy to cry here.
Get your energy.
I don't know. I think I'm still processing, Sometimes it takes me, like, a week to really process something that happened. Like, a week later, I'll finally be like, all right, I'm ready to process that for real. Like sometimes you need to step away from things or not think about things to then come back and actually evaluate them properly or for, more, I guess, to process it better.
Yeah, to really understand it. Because I feel like you can let tears off and just because you're full of an emotion, like that's like crying when you're really happy. You're full of the emotion. Well, you just need to let the excess off, Or just even when you're, you ever, for yourself, like, been to a cry and then, like, you let off, like, I don't want to say, like, a yelp or, like, a laugh before the cry? Crazy laugh?
Yeah.
I had a crazy laugh, cry this, like in October. Like, I'm driving home, and it was just laughing hysterically. Then the tears just started going crazy. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I sat and through it, and I understood why after.
Yeah.
But it's crazy, the overwhelming emotions when it's just everything at once,
Yes, and driving is definitely one of the most times I almost cry more so in the car driving, which is how my cries would start when I'm like, all right, but I need more. Like I need to get this out. But yeah, like you almost feel like you just like go through this like crazy. I'm like, am I freaking out?
See, that's thing. I gotta connect you with my other guests that just seem to be too gangster. Where they let one thug tear go. They said when I asked them when the last time they cried.
Oh no, I like to get up in there.
Oh, you
make
gotta
sure
tell
I'm
me.
below my nose.
I don't know about that type of crying. Well, I be crying. Listen. I'm the type
I get
person.
Stuffed up when I cry. I don't know about anyone else, but you get all puffy, get stuffy, and.
Oh no, you be really going for it when you cry.
I feel immensely. I'm an empath. I feel for sure.
I know. I feel that same because this might be embarrassing or whatever. When I write poems, sometimes when it's really emotional for me, I'll let some tears go.
Oh, 1,000%.
And I'm driving home, and I'm like, damn. And sometimes I realize I'm not ready to write about it yet. Mm-hmm. That should be hurting. I got something on my head right now I'm thinking about.
But when you write it, you're releasing that, right?
Yeah, I gotta release it.
But you're holding on to, I think, to release it a certain way too. There's a lack of or need for control.
Yeah, I think I know personally though the way because if I release it in the words, it's not really validating anything. I think there's a couple actions I need to go out into the world to complete and words I need to say to this person
Mm-hmm.
before I can talk about a situation to
Mm-hmm.
at least, like we talked about, going back into your past and healing that person.
Yeah.
Because until I heal that person, I'm realizing now I can't move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with a family member who was like cousin of mine, and we grew up together. Like fingers are crossed, by the way, like really close. You know what I mean? Like, but as time went on, we grew apart because of our families, and this is like when we talked about being lucky enough to realize a gift.
Yeah.
I only mention that because like certain environments, like damn, I start to believe like shit. Sometimes luck is all one person needed,
Yeah.
and I wish they were a little more lucky, because I look at my situation and his situation, and the only difference is who we were born to, and that's not my work. That's my luck. So maybe that.
I feel that word now differently than how we were talking about before. I totally understand. Yeah.
And I guess I wasn't ready to let it out as like that then, but like it hurts. It hurts me a lot. But that's a part of me that I know I need to resolve.
Mm. And I hope and wish that you do.
Thank you.
In your time, when you're ready, and as it unfolds, as it should, and as it will.
And that's why I love the forever peaking line. That was gonna be something I was gonna use later on, because I do my research and I was like, oh, I love it, because my it's funny because I always think about like what name would I want as a poet.
Oh.
And I thought about this for months, like since like the summertime, and just seeing your tag, I'm like, this bitch. I wanted it to be forever loading.
Ooh, love.
You know, like
that's cool.
Because I'm always gonna be in this process. But I'm gonna switch it up now. Somebody's forever peaking.
I think that you should be forever loading. That sounds very fitting, and I think it's like very like, who gives a shit that forever peaking is like is not my identity.
I know. We'll talk about your identity later. Don't mention
okay, it. Sorry. But I'm saying for you, like, you should take ownership in that.
We'll see. Because
you got other ideas. I can see your face. You're like, nah, I'm just gonna drop this little breadcrumb, but like, you guys will see I'm gonna reveal next week or something.
As time comes, we'll see. Honestly,
I'm here
like we talked about the creative process.
I'm patient. I'll be here. I'll be checking up on you.
You better.
Forever loading.
Who or what makes you smile?
My dog makes me smile.
What's your dog's name?
Kiwi.
Kiwi?
Like kiwi, like the fruit. Like she definitely can make me smile. But you said people, so I guess.
What's that? Listen, Kiwi is a good answer. That's a who. I'm not mad at that at all.
Okay.
So Kiwi makes you. What kind of dog is Kiwi?
Kiwi's a border terrier.
Border terrier. Border is like border collie.
Just border terrier.
What does border mean? Not border like the word, but like that's not a breed.
She's a border terrier. It's just a type of terrier. Yeah, I guess.
Border terrier. All right.
She's cute. She's got like coarse hair, like a kiwi, which was unintentional. I'm allergic to her, and I didn't really know that. But like I'm fine. Like we're good. We worked through. I'm on my allergy meds. Like I feel like I've kind of grown out of it a little bit. But like she definitely makes me happy. She's definitely been there kissing my tears away. Like dogs are like such a gift.
They really are.
They are a gift.
They really are. But I got dog trauma, so like I still love dogs though, regardless. But like a dog bit the tip of my middle finger off.
No, I would be upset about that. Damn.
But like, it still works.
Yeah.
But
your face, I'm dead.
But
I'm so sorry that you had to go through that.
Nah, it was it was quite the experience. But I love dogs so much that I don't really care. That I just don't fuck with that dog like that. But like I had to walk my friend's dog the other day, and it's like a pit, and I go in. He's like, nah, it's a good dog. It's a good dog. Once I reached my hand, it's about to bite my hand again. I walked out the house. I'm like, oh, nah, fuck this shit. So the dog just stayed in this house for 3 days. I'm like, and I feel I love animals, so I felt so bad, but fuck it.
It's like, have you seen the videos of like people who like spiders and snakes and stuff? Like the running joke with my cousin is that like, and she's like, oh nope, hell no. burn that shit down. Like, it's like something that I'm not gonna even go near. You
Like,
can't
you're not gonna worry about
me. Like, you can't pay me. Like, that's the experience I felt from you sharing yours with the dog.
No, it was literally like he was like, and mind you, I FaceTime him, and the dog is going crazy, like barking. He's like, nah, he's just a pit, man. Just put the gate down. I'm like, yo. Then I just turned the camera on my hand. He's like, I don't want to see that, damn it. You gonna see another one if I would have went and got that dog though.
Yeah.
What does self-care mean to you?
Self-care. I think it's like the essential to existing. Like, I think it's like an essential. Forms of self-care is, I think, something everyone needs to explore and discover for themselves because it looks different on everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was a moment in time where it was hard for me to figure out my own form of self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Like having a self-care routine but I think
do you have a self-care routine?
I don't know if it's necessarily routine, but I guess it's things that I prioritize in my life. So sure, it's a lifestyle. I like to look at it like that. Like, there's a form of taking care of myself through my lifestyle. Like,
Okay.
Preparing myself for the week. Things that I like to indulge in, So, yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay, what is on the top of your self-care routine?
The top. Painting.
Painting. You gonna paint tonight?
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you gonna paint?
I've been doing like this little series of these watercolor paintings, and oil pastels, and I've been sharing them on my Instagram a little bit. They're just so containing for me. Like, they're just something that I don't have to think about. Like I said, when I get in that zone, like painting wise, and I get super focused, just feel at home. Like, I feel at peace with myself, and like no one could take that from me. Like, this is my moment, and this is like a meditation. That's what it feels like to me, a meditation. Also, exercise is huge for me. I love working out. I love going to the gym. I love being active, going on walks, hikes. I mean, it's a little colder now, but I love hiking.
I went on my first hike in December.
Really? Where'd you go?
And there's this lake in Oxford.
Okay.
So I went over there with a friend. It was pretty dope. I scared the shit out of me, though. Like, I'm realizing, like, oh, man, I'm not trying to say you white people type of thing, but, like...
Let's hear it. I'm here for it.
I said it on the podcast before, but, like, I was walking, and, like, I'm looking over the edge, and I'm like, what the fuck? There's, like, literally nothing that's gonna really grab me and save me.
Oh.
You just gotta, like, really... Hiking is, like, really out in the wilderness. Let's take this trek. I'm like, what? It was fun, don't get me wrong, but then going out there, I'm like, this is fucking dangerous.
You're out there in the wild. Also, though, like, I like to hike because I'm so scared of heights. It's the only way I'm going to be able to see anything because, like, I'm scared too. So, regardless, I'm always, like, I don't go by the edge. There's no way I can't, like, look, I'm not scared, but, like, I know that, like, I could fucking die if I go over that
what I'm
edge.
saying.
Or if I just take one wrong step, if I'm not... You know what, the thing is, like, when you start to recognize how terrifying that is, there's something very humbling in the fact that, like, I have to be super present with every step that I take on this journey, which can be applied to just how you live and exist in life.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that. That was nice. That shit almost made me cut the podcast off and go for a hike right now.
Let's go. Peace out. Bye, guys.
No, I like that, though. Like, being that present. That you're right, because that's exactly what I felt. I was so scared that nothing else was on my mind.
I like to get lost in the woods.
Right.
That's what I found in hiking. It was a meditation. Like, that's what self-care is, these forms of meditations for me. And, like, hiking, I discovered that I enjoyed it in, like, high school, actually.
Oh.
It's kind of when I started to, like, kind of, like, just get into it and like it. And...
Getting drunk in the woods and stuff.
I mean, no.
No.
But, like, we could do that, too. Like, people enjoy that. I think, like, I genuinely was, like, hiking.
Okay, because, like, that was definitely high school stuff.
I never did that. I wasn't that cool in high school. I guess I wasn't invited. I've heard about it, though.
I was not cool either. I was getting drunk at the parks. No, it was fun.
There's no judgments. I've been drunk in a few places that I don't need to mention on the podcast.
Oh
God, that's for, like, off the record type conversation. I'll tell you a story later.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it. What are you looking to find this year?
Excuse me. One second. Sorry. I have
Excuse
a
me.
tickle in my throat.
That's all good. If anything, we'll edit it out, or we'll just
Okay.
keep it because you know.
So what'd you ask me?
What do you expect? What are you looking to find this year?
What am I looking to find? I guess find more of myself. I think I'm also looking to find a new career for myself. Like that's definitely on the forefront of my mind right now is, like what's keeping me in Stamford. I live in Stamford now. I moved from Norwalk to Stamford. What's keeping me here in Connecticut in general? Like, do I really want to stay here? I have all the freedom in the world, right? Like we always have these. We make a choice and we make decisions every single second of every single moment, actively, constantly, without thinking. It's muscle memory or the bigger, tougher questions like, what am I gonna eat today? Like not that it's kind of sarcastic, but we make these decisions and they do shape everything that we do. So for me, I just keep questioning like, all right, like work is always gonna be work, but like, am I feeling fulfilled, or do I want a different type of daily lifestyle? I would like to have a job that is different than what I'm doing. I want to be in a creative like conversation all the time. Or I don't know. I think that's what I'm trying to find. I don't really know. I think I'm in the process of figuring it out.
And not to double back, but do you feel finishing that art therapy master will allow you to open more doors into those spaces?
I think I know it would open more doors in those spaces to become an art therapist and do that work, but I don't know if I necessarily want that.
But my thing is like, so the only doors you think that would open is for art therapy?
No.
Because that's what I'm like, you know
I
what
don't
I
think
mean?
it's only that, but I do feel that if I'm going to finish that, like that's what it's
Gonna be
the
for.
main, like I get a key and it's going to unlock that door to that. And then that door is going to have different doors within that and diving into that. But I don't know if I really want to do that work. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things I need to process first before knowing.
And when you think about the capacity and what you want to do art, what comes to mind naturally?
I just love painting. I want to be valued as an artist for the work I do and to help people have their vision brought to life. Like I have a mural gig coming up, and I've loved the entire process of collaborating with the owners. It's so fun. Like, oh, you don't like this? Okay, what if we did this? Like, I love putting together composition and understanding, what they want and how to get there, and reverse engineering it. And like, okay, well, I'm gonna do this is because I have my whole process of how I create art for something like that, and people don't always know it, which is fine. But even getting to that place, that's just like a skill set to actually be able to create and paint like that. But the process of formulating the composition of the work, that's the fun part that I kind of like with the client. So I would love to just do more, like, I guess, commission-based artwork for, murals or installations, different projects. I want to be, as an artist, I would like to get involved in more art projects with people. And I'm low-key doing that. I got some things boiling on the stove. I got some things cooking.
Okay. Well, I think I got some recipes on the shelf. So if you want to hit me up after the podcast, let's see if you have the ingredients to make this stuff.
Let's go.
Okay.
Chef it up.
All right.
Yes.
I love, like we talked about, connecting and supporting people.
Yeah.
And I think I have a couple things in my head that I'd love to support you on.
Oh, I would love that. Thank you.
No, of course. Come on now. This last section of the podcast is called "Feel This Way." Running so much time, I know.
What time is it?
I don't
didn't
know.
even look at my
I know. Don't worry about it. Talk about it. I know, right?
All right. Sorry. No one's gonna listen to this one. I'm sorry.
No, relax.
I'm teasing.
I will say a word, phrase, or statement, and I want you to tell me what emotions, thoughts, and memories it sparks. You ready?
I'm ready.
MADRVN.
That's me.
That's you?
What do I what do I have to tell you?
Just anything. What emotions, thoughts, and memories it sparks. You could even say why MADRVN.
Yeah, I think, it's funny. I feel like, so my artist name is Raven, and I love when people come up to me and only know me as Raven. I think it's like such a special, validating moment for me. But MADRVN is interesting because I've been debating on if I want to just drop the mad out or what I want to do. But honestly, this is a little low key embarrassing. But I was out getting a drink in Norwalk. And the waitress came up to me and she was like, "Oh my God, I know you. Like, how do I know you?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just moved out from Norwalk. Like, maybe, do you live in Norwalk?" "Oh yeah, I do." And she's like, It's like, "Have you heard of the Mad Lab? Like, maybe it's an art space." "Yeah, you're Raven. Oh my God, I see you all the time online. Like, I feel like I know who you are." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so humbled."
Oh, that must have been such a beautiful moment.
I felt famous. I was like, "I'm famous." Nah, I'm kidding.
Listen, are these drinks free now or what?
Yeah, right, yeah. Let me get a shout out. You want my autograph? Not even. I'm like the opposite of that. But it just felt like, wow, like, I've actively made a point to, like, be more comfortable with putting myself out there and, like, just be who I am and be okay with that. And I think that was a lot of inner work over the years that I've worked up to even doing. And I see it paying off. It felt like it was paying off and being recognized and as this identity of Raven and who I am. But, so it was Creative Raven at first. That was, like, originally what it was. And then it kind of shifted into MADRVN. But I think that, like, it will now shift into something else too when when it presents itself.
This is your growth journey. This
Yeah.
is your journey. You have a tattoo.
I do. I have a few.
I
have more than a few.
More than a few?
Yes.
But there's this one that's on your pointer finger?
Yes.
What does that say?
Mad. MAD, mad.
Can you give me, when did you get that?
I got this at Javier Eastman's, at his tattoo shop. So a funny story was Weverson was turning 30 and decided to throw a party. And the artists who were in the lab, I was like, "Yo, I'm going to surprise him. We're going to get tatted." And they were like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're all going to get tatted." And they were like, "Why would we do that? Like, no way." I somehow convinced them. They were like, "All right, like, what are we doing?" I was like, we're gonna get mad tatted on our fingers." Okay, fine, no problem. So I made an appointment for like 6 of us, and we all did it in the morning, and the party was in the, like, right after work. And I said, I'm gonna pick you up from work. And I blindfolded him. Meanwhile, we all got tatted, and now it was just him who was left. I take him, he's blindfolded. I'm like, "Do you know where we are?" And he's like, "I don't know, country club." Like, he knew we were doing a party, but he didn't, like, know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Who's got country club money?" Like, "What? No." I'm like, "What?"
Now you're like, "Damn, I'm surprised not about to be no fucking country club."
We get in the place, and I'm like, "All right, we're gonna work." We're walking in, and then, like, I take off the blindfold. He's like, "What are we doing here? Like, why are we in a tattoo shop?" And I was like, "'Cause you're getting tatted." And, like, my friends walk out, and we're like, "Yeah."
Everybody with their mad fingers. Yo, I'm dying.
It was so fun. And, the cool thing about it was everyone did their own font. So everyone had their own identity or their own color and their own font, but it all was, like, obviously unified by MAD. So it was a beautiful thing because MAD itself, and, this is mainly from Weverson, is, like, the mad scientist, like, to be mad creative. Like, that was his original company, which is how MAD really started. It was very cool. So it really had a big impact on who I felt I was becoming with the Mad Lab and everything. But it's just so fun. So, like, I actually feel like my tat might be the only one that really remains. A lot of them have. It's a hard spot to keep it, fresh.
Yeah.
And I'm so pale, man. So,
somebody's not washing their hands. But keep on. I'm just kidding.
That's not true.
It's the pale skin.
It is the pale skin. But some of them have faded, and, like, someone got it in pink and it's not even there anymore. Someone got it in red, it started to fade. So, like, I love that I have this tattoo. It's very special.
That's what's up. It's dope for sure.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah, the font's.
The next word I have is self-confidence.
Oh, self-confidence is something I feel like I've worked towards. So when I hear that, I think that I like to empower people to have that. Like my friends, I like to talk to them. I like to hype them up. I like helping them process their shit and being like, "No, you're just having a bad day, bro. Like you're good. Like I'm here for you and I see you and you're
Mm-hmm.
doing it. Like, I'm here. I'm like a hype girl.
Mm.
I think all my friends know they could hit me up and I got them.
You're gonna make them feel good.
Yeah.
I like that. What is one thing you're very confident about yourself?
That like what you see is what you get. It's face value. Like who I am is through and through. I'm very genuine. I'm very confident in that aspect of who I am.
Okay. And I think through the years that I've known you, I think that's very true as well. So shout out to you.
Genuine.
Genuine. Genuine. Let's just sign off every time. Genuine.
Genuine.
The next word I have is 75 hard.
75 hard.
What is that?
That is a challenge that I took part in earlier or late last year. I started it in August, and it's 75 days of different things that you have to accomplish every day. There's no you can't forget one. You're still on the like you just start over. It's a challenge of mental toughness and discipline.
75. You got to get all 75.
75 days.
Did you hit that?
I did.
Wow. I definitely got to clap for that. That's 75 days is no joke.
No, it's no joke at all.
So what was the biggest change you saw within yourself after the 75 days?
That self-discipline for sure. 75 hard like changed my life, and it also helped me get through a lot of things. Like I was challenged. I'm so stubborn. I'm so stubborn that I had to do it, because there are moments where I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this. I don't want to drink any more water. I have a gallon of water to drink. Like I'm going to stay up an extra hour now and chug water. And then I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. to go to the bathroom because I have so much water to chug. But it taught me that like I'm capable of pushing through the discomfort and forcing myself to say, Jess, you have to do this. Like you're doing this for you. And so for me, like the biggest change was the self-discipline of knowing that like I'm doing this for me and only for me. And like that's more than enough of a reason to stick to something.
Yeah. And you're right, because like that's the only reason you need to stick to something. And once you clear out all that noise and you could really believe that, you become unstoppable.
Yes, that's what it felt like. Like no one could take that from me.
And I find myself in that space, but I struggle to maintain it consistently. And it's hard. Is your self-discipline right now, has it wavered at all?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, like when I was done with 75 hard, I was like, I'm going to get my pizza and beer. Let's go. First meal I had after 75 hard was so one of the tasks in 75 hard is, I'll explain all the tasks really quick. You have to exercise twice a day for 45 minutes at a time, and they have to be a minimum of 3 hours apart. So you can't just do one long workout. So I usually would do like a recovery workout and then like an intense workout. And I like to lift weights, and I had to walk Kiwi. So it was kind of convenient. I could walk Kiwi as one. I could do yoga as one. But the whole point is that one of those has to be outside, no matter what the weather is. Uh-huh. So I'm walking in the rain. I'm working out outside in the snow, whatever. That's how it is. You have to drink a gallon of water. You have to read 10 pages of any book, like a self-help or a non-fiction book, like educational reading. You have to physically read. There's no podcasts, audio. Yeah, only physical books. You can be on a diet that you have to cut out all the junk, all the crap, but it's very like any diet you want. You create that diet, but like you can't be like, all right, like yeah, I'm still gonna eat chocolate though. Like if chocolate's something that you know that you shouldn't indulge in all the time, like don't be eating chocolate. Yeah. All right. Like, so I cut out certain foods and stuff, and I was like really into like my meal prepping, and it's kind of fun when you dive into something and you're like fully committed, because you're kind of like indulge in a way that like it's self-serving. Like I'm bettering myself. I'm figuring out more about myself, like what fuels my body versus like eating just crap just to eat crap. You take a selfie a day. So I took a selfie at Colony On the last day, I had my last selfie at Colony, and then I had beers and pizza with my friend Jenny, and she did the challenge with me as well.
And shout out to Jenny.
Shout out to Jenny. Shout out to Jenny. That's my girl. I love her. I love Jenny.
She's good people. She's good people.
She's really good people. Yeah, she helped me get through 75 hard too. But that was like she told me about 75 hard. She's the one who started it. She's like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing this challenge. I was like, yo, I need a challenge. That's when I worked with her. I was like, yo, I need a challenge. Like, tell me about it. And like, she told me, I was like, I'm doing it. When are you doing it? She was, next Wednesday after the Yankee game. I was like, all right, done, bet. Like, we're doing it. So I get to work and I'm like, I did my morning workout. I started checking my water. And then she's like, oh, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that until tomorrow. And I was like, girl, I started today. What do you mean? I was like, I can't go back now. Like, I already started. I got to keep going. So, like, I think I started a day ahead of her or something. But it was something I needed, and it came at the right time. Timing's everything. We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this challenge was that for me. That changed my life.
Damn. Go shout out to them.
Yeah.
I don't know about, in my head, I'm like, yo, Ryan, you're going to look into that. But it's that situation. It's like, come on, yo. Come on.
You could do it.
Don't even do that to yourself.
You could, though. Why not? Why not do it to yourself?
I could, but will I?
I don't know. What's holding you back? Excuses that don't matter.
Damn, can I at least get an excuse off before you say excuses that don't matter?
I'm not going to let you even think about it. You already know. You're trying to think of an excuse.
Right? I was trying hard, too.
We don't play games here.
All right, you're right. I don't know. It sounds like something I do need, though. Like that mental discipline in the space that I'm in right now, I think in readjusting my balance would help out a lot. So I'm going to think about it.
You should. I've reconsidered doing it again.
Oh.
And then I said, maybe I can just implement certain things.
But
that's kind of the point, right?
Right? That is the point.
Lifestyle change.
Yo, I fuck with you. The next feel this way I have is the Ikigai.
Ikigai, yeah.
Tell me about that.
Ikigai is like finding your sole purpose in life, meaning that, you know, you may think that, like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do, like, you know, your life is supposed to unfold a certain way, or, like, your purpose in life. But the reality is that, like, if you can be okay with that, like, you're serving your purpose through serving the community. So, like, say I'm meant to help people, and, like, that's it. Like, finding my sole purpose and living that is what the Ikigai is. So there's a book, the Ikigai. I highly recommend it. You can listen. You can even do the audio. You can do the audio book. That's how I first heard it, and then I bought the book and read it.
I can't do audiobooks.
No, yes, some people can't. I love the physical book.
Right, I gotta feel it.
But I was driving up to Canada when I first heard it. When I listened to the whole book. I was like, all right, this trip is this long. I'm gonna listen to this book. I'm about to like.
So you have the physical book?
I have the physical book.
Can I borrow it?
Absolutely.
All right, can I pick it up this week?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Before I leave for Barcelona.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah. No, but for real, yeah.
When do you leave?
I leave on Wednesday, so pick it up tomorrow or Tuesday.
Yeah.
Or I could drop it off or something, whatever.
I'll pick it up tomorrow.
I got flexibility.
All right.
Yeah, we'll connect. Have you read the 4 Agreements?
No. I was gonna say the Ikigai or the 4 Agreements. I was gonna name my 2 books for you to say to you, but I said
you gotta read the 4 Agreements too.
Everybody tells me that. You got both?
I got both.
So you can drop both on me? Can I?
Yeah.
Can I give you a book as well?
I would love that.
What do I have for you? Have you read The Alchemist?
Yes.
I read
that. I read that in high school, I think, maybe middle school.
And you're open to any type of self-help book?
Oh, all of them, yeah.
All right, I got a good one for you.
I love them.
7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
I would love to read that. That's on my list. I'll
my God.
I'll borrow that.
I got you. I'll bring it tomorrow.
All right, we got a little book swap.
That's my joint.
Join our book club. Podcast coming soon.
Genuine. The last word I have is loneliness.
Loneliness.
What does that mean to you?
I think loneliness is a feeling of emptiness.
Okay.
Lack thereof. Like, that's how I define it, I guess. It's a scary feeling for me. Like, I identify that as, like, a really sad feeling. Sadness, loneliness.
When was the last time you felt lonely?
I think I felt lonely last week. I think that was part of the sadness that I was experiencing. Remember, I was like, I want to cry. I don't know why. But I don't know necessarily why. I think sometimes we can feel lonely in a room full of people.
Yeah.
You know, I think that our minds have a lot of manipulation on our feelings sometimes, like our own self-talk. So something I've always battled with is negative self-talk, but I feel that I've really taken a hold of that, which is really refreshing for myself. Like a rebirth, you know? And I don't know if I've necessarily felt like extreme loneliness, but I think I felt a little lonely. I think it's hard not to sometimes. If you really wanted to like play into it, like I could think about it right now, like when do you have moments of loneliness, you know? Like think about that.
Are you asking me, or do you wanna
hypothetically, but also like asking you that, yeah.
When do I have moments of loneliness?
Mm-hmm.
I have moments of loneliness when I'm doubting myself. When I doubt myself and I start to feel like I need reassurance from other people.
Outside validation.
Yeah, that's when I feel lonely. But I tried to work on that much more so recently, and being that taking satisfaction in completing tasks or just being myself or being honest or being truthful and being transparent, being vulnerable, and not having anything in the back of my head. You know?
I almost wanted to, like, everything I'm hearing you say is in alignment. I feel in alignment. Like, when I feel the loneliness, I realize I don't feel grounded in myself.
Yes.
Like, that's what I feel like. It's very similar to what you're saying, is that, like, lack of being grounded.
Yeah, and it can be shame and guilt, and I don't want to feel those things.
No one ever wants to feel those bad feelings.
You know, I don't want to feel those things.
Sometimes we just avoid them and they build up and then they're worse.
Yeah.
But, like, you have to experience all the emotions. Like, they're all there to complement each other.
Yeah.
You can't have one without the other. They have to coexist. I believe that emotions are, like, almost cyclical sometimes. So, like, they go in phases and they go in waves and they just come and they go and they come and they go.
Yeah, and there's times where I feel super centered and so emotionally aware of myself that, like, those are the moments where I cry, and it's not like the cry. It's like, yeah, you're sad. You're not going to be happy right now. These things happen. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how I felt this week. Is like, I was like, I know I'm going to be sad. Let me get into it and be done.
Yeah.
Not like rush it, but like, all right, I'm ready. Like, let's go. Let me face this. Let me deal with this. And like, I'm going to be okay. I am okay. You have to tell yourself sometimes, even if you don't believe it and feel it in your heart, you're going to be okay. This is only temporary. This is only temporary.
Because like we said, right? The words we say to ourselves can be so powerful. Way to bring it back full circle. This was honestly my pleasure talking with you, Jess. It's I'm happy to have seen you again. You have such a beautiful soul. And I know you said before you struggled with negative self-talk. So I would like you to finish with 3 positive things about yourself.
Like I am statements?
However you want to put them.
Because that's something I used to practice. I used to do with art therapy. Is like saying I am statements.
Drop it. I am.
I gotta think about this. This is intense. Okay, I am love. I am pure. And I am here.
And I received that.
Thank you.
All right, so how I end this podcast is with a poem.
Wait, thank you for having me. I felt super honored that you even asked me to be on this show. And thank you for seeing me, and it's been a wonderful experience. And I haven't seen you in forever, so I love it.
Oh, me too. And we don't have to make it the last time, right?
No. You're going to see tomorrow with his books.
Yes. Fucking funny, yo. But This is how I usually end the podcast with the poem. I hope you enjoy. Oh, wait.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Did I find peace, or was it complacency? Why do dreams of death and beads of sweat keep waking me? Maybe that's my heart telling my body there's no escaping me. 'Cause I used to overwork to make up for negative thoughts with empty positive actions. Maybe that's why we could never find long-term traction. In the future, you fought for like it was a revelation, but I kept you at arm's length with my elbow bent, 6 degrees short of separation. This is something to hold us.